Rapper Tekashi 69 has been released from prison due to coronavirus concerns. This is totally legal. State and local governments across the country are releasing non-violent offenders because they're worried that the jails will be too crowded. What are your thoughts? So my stimulus check was just deposited to my bank account. Kermit, the evidence we have against you for the murder of almost the entire Leaf Village is overwhelming.
And I would do it again in a second.
So you do admit to it?
Not only do I admit to it, I took great pleasure in it. For I was sitting in Ichiraku Ramen when some blonde-haired kid came and ate my bowl of ramen. It was at that moment I decided the world shall know pain. I obtained great power through rigorous training, and I came back to the Leaf Village for my vengeance. The only regret I have is that I didn't beat that bitch Orochimaru to death.
Your rights to film the police, part 1. If you are lawfully present in a public space, you may film government actors, such as the police. The police can order you to stop filming, but only if the filming truly interferes with police operations. The police may never delete your videos under any circumstance.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of OSHA violations.
Are there potential consequences if you refuse to take a field sobriety test? Yes, but let me tell you why you should still refuse. So last week I made a video explaining why you should refuse to take a field sobriety test even if you're sober, and I overwhelmingly got this comment stating that in some states there are potential penalties for refusing to take a field sobriety test. In Texas, my state, they can suspend your license if you refuse to take a field sobriety test. And you better believe the officer is going to try and pressure you into taking the field sobriety test using that fact. But just because the courts can go after you for another crime doesn't mean that they necessarily will. You can hire a good lawyer and they can reasonably explain to the judge that the reason why you decline to take the field sobriety test is because you know that it's really easy to fail those tests even if you're sober. And if the judge understands, they could just throw away that charge. And in the event the judge doesn't throw out that charge, I would much rather fight that than a false DUI charge. You don't need a certain BAC level to get a DUI, so don't let them get unnecessary evidence from you. Interesting legal discussion. Multiple sources have indicated that Fox News is preparing to be sued over their early coverage of the coronavirus. And one lawsuit actually has already been filed. And this is not meant to be a political discussion, but there's a very interesting legal theory here. So let me give you a real life hypothetical. This is Karen. On March 14th, Karen posts something to the effect of the coronavirus is made up by the mainstream media. A few weeks later, Karen contracts COVID-19 because she doesn't believe in the validity of the virus. And unfortunately, Karen passes away due to her exposure to COVID-19. So here's the interesting hypothetical. If we could establish that Karen got her information from Fox News, could her family sue for her wrongful death? And to be honest, I don't know if that family could prevail because the causation is so weak. I mean, there are people who have taken every precaution to protect themselves from COVID-19 and they've still gotten it. Additionally, when does it become the responsibility of the individual to act on what they heard on the news? What are your thoughts?
How to get a free controller every time. First, go to your local Target and buy a controller. Second, once you get home, carefully open the box and take the controller out. Third, replace your old controller with the new controller. 4, package it all back up and return it.
Your rights to film the police, part 2. While you do have the right to film the police, depending on your state, you might not have the right to film the police in secret. So I always advise notifying the police officer that you're filming them. And if you're trespassing on private property, you may not be able to film. Part 3 coming soon. How to react when you get pulled over by the police. The first step is to record your phone, put it on the dashboard, roll down your window, and put your hands on the steering wheel. You're not going to make any sudden movements until you talk to the police because you don't want them to think that you're hiding something in. Then you're going to say this.
Officer, my driver's license is in my pocket. Is it okay if I reach for it?
Now's a good time to inform the officer that you're recording this conversation.
Sir, I am recording this conversation on my phone, which is located on the dashboard.
If the police order you out of the car, you have to get out of the car, but that doesn't necessarily give them the right to search your car.
We'll get out the car. Before I do, I will roll up my window and pick up my phone that's on the dashboard and continue recording this conversation.
You have no obligation to talk to the officer about your day, so this is what you say if they start asking you questions.
Sir, again, I would not answer any questions unless I have my lawyer present.
Best tip I can give is make sure you're respectful to the officer and make them feel safe. That will better increase your chances of having a successful interaction.
Did you know that you can get denied a divorce? I'm from a super small town, and because of that, the dating pool is super limited, which led to one couple getting married and divorced 5 times. And when they went in for the 5th time to the same judge to get a divorce, the judge said no. To quote him directly, "I am sick of this crap." And they were like, "No, we really want a divorce." And he was like, "I don't care, because I'm not going to be here in 6 months when you guys come back in getting another marriage license. So you can go home and sort this out." And guys, they went home. They did not get a divorce. In fact, they're still married. So I think this judge just provided them the most effective and aggressive form of marriage counseling ever seen.
Who would do such a thing?
Yeah, I saw her. About 2 to 3 months old. Went by Lola. Why? Something happened to the newspaper?
Thanks, Sam. Take it easy on the TP.
Yeah, right.
We've got 3 witnesses that place you at the scene of the crime.
Hey TikTok, so I've been getting tons of positive feedback from my friends in law enforcement about the video I made yesterday about how to interact with the police. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is that while my role as an attorney is sometimes adversarial to that of the police, there is so much respect between us. I've stated multiple times on this channel that I am nowhere near brave, strong, or courageous enough to be a police officer. And law enforcement officers aren't oblivious to the tension that exists between them and the general public, and most understand why it exists. And 99% of our police officers do a fantastic job. But let me tell you a little secret. The good cops hate the bad cops. So I'm going to start doing a Q&A with Officer D, a fellow TikToker. Ask us your questions, and we're going to present our answers from a police officer's perspective and an attorney's perspective. And our goal is to protect you, to educate you on your legal and constitutional rights, and to ease tensions by humanizing the badge. She got $2.9 million from McDonald's when she spilled burning hot coffee on herself, and she deserved every single penny. Let me explain why. This is the famous McDonald's hot coffee case that insurance companies and mega corporations have been using as propaganda since 1992 to push this false narrative of frivolous lawsuits. But it's not frivolous, and let me explain to you the facts of the case. 1, the coffee was served between 180 and 190 degrees Fahrenheit, almost boiling. 2, it was McDonald's procedures at the time to serve the coffee that hot, and they testified at trial that they knew of the dangers of scalding hot coffee. 3, McDonald's records showed that over the past 10 years, they had 700 complaints of men, women, and children being severely injured by the scalding hot coffee, yet they did nothing to fix it. 4, allegedly the coffee was made so hot to prevent people from getting refills because by the time the coffee cooled down, they had already left the store. 5, why did the jury give her $2.9 million? Because that's how much McDonald's made in just 1 day of selling coffee at the time. 1 day! Go look up pictures of her injury. Gary V, AttorneyTom here, and I'm just shooting my shot asking if I could be a guest on Tuesday's Tea with Gary. I love your content, I listen almost every day, and here's the screenshot you asked us to take this morning if we wanted to be on. I took your advice and started TikToking less than 2 months ago. And look at this. Thanks for your consideration.
Mild leather.
Dude, we're getting the band back together. You're the one who sets the bar.
Hi.
What's up, guys?
I do. Today we have another challenge.
Okay.
I will give you this $100 bill that I found in my room from Christmas.
Is that real?
If you let me crack 3 eggs over your head.
3 eggs over my head for $100?
Yes. Deal? I can?
Wait, I guess. I
Face
mean,
this way.
we have
Face
more
this
eggs,
way.
right?
You ready?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
1.
Yeah, that's 1.
2.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm actually good. I'm good. You can keep the 3rd egg.
But I'm here right now.
What if I told you that one of the biggest creators on this entire app is based on a lie? I usually like to stay out of the TikTok drama, but on this one, I really can't. I have to say something. And I want you to know that I have a very reliable source on this, and the information I'm about to give you is true. Literally, no one said Wells Fargo.